Hello everybody. Alright, so this might be another short one today, but I'm in the throes of an exciting process, which is, I don't know, can you hear the drum roll? Is your whole world vibrating? Yes? Hubris Towers Episode 7, coming next Tuesday, August 9th, 2016. That way if you're watching in the distant future, you know which year I was talking about, because people are going to be watching this for hundreds of years, I'm sure. No, Hubris Towers Episode 7, Wanton Destruction. So, you can, if you're not caught up on the series, which, I usually don't plug myself like crazy, but it's actually pretty good. It's been in the Amazon Top 20 short humor for over a year. It's got, like 4.8 stars, and everybody loves it, and it's hilarious. Though I say who shouldn't. Anyway, if you want to go catch up on it, you can go to clickworkspress.com/hubris1 to see the whole series. And if you click on the season 1 bundle, it's actually pay what you want right now. So just click on the big red button that says $9.95, and you can actually put in any number you want, including 0 if you want. Try it out. Pro tip. So I'm having a celebratory drink of unidentifiable fruit juice. The reason it's unidentifiable is because I have slyly mixed 2 different juices of the fruit. Have you guessed what they are yet? No, because it's unidentifiable. You probably can't. Ha! No, just kidding. I'm sure everybody got it in like two tries. It's orange juice plus apple juice, which I hadn't tried before, necessarily. It's not like that's my favorite inscrutable mix of juices. It's just 2 juices that we happen to have, and I decided to try mixing them. So it's kind of like pineapple juice, actually, turns out. So this is our last day at the Secret Alternative headquarters. That's a shame. I'm trying to enjoy the water and all while I can. And another fun thing, I'm just like, okay, so it's been way too long since we released episode 6. We had a baby in the middle, not Bill and I, but my wife and I. So that's fair. Like, I gave myself a little bit of leeway for having a slower cycle on this one, but it's still been way too long. And I'm remembering now that I am releasing another book how much I enjoy actually finishing and putting out a copy of a book. And part of that is that I'm one thing I really enjoy doing is developing efficient systems. If I look angry, by the way, it's because I'm basically staring into the sun, so it's not you, don't worry. Yeah, I really enjoy developing efficient systems, and so part of what I do, or part of how I do that, is I build checklists. And so, like, if there's something I'm going to be doing a lot of times, especially if it's something that's a little bit on the complicated side or has a lot of steps, like releasing a book, I will just kind of write the steps as I go, and just for my own use in a very, like, simple, straightforward, I'll understand it kind of way. And then the extra trick is, as I go back through it, I'll, like each time I do it again, I'll keep using that checklist, but if there's something else that I had to, like, look up or remember how to do or refigure out, I'll just note that down as well. So, like, each time I go through, the checklist gets better and better. So it's not just like this, like, thing that's tying me down. It's actually becoming a better and better tool, and it's kind of alive, and it just meets my needs, whatever those needs happen to be. So it's very, like, freewheeling and easy and light touch, but at the same time it means that I get to where I can go super fast, because it's kind of like, imagine if any time you needed a tool and you just reached out, it happened to be that tool was the thing that was under your fingers. Like, just think about how much faster it would go. Or, like, if you're using the computer and anytime you were about to do something, the window for that thing just automatically popped up. It's kind of like that, where, like, if I just have this checklist and I've been keeping it, getting better and better every time I go through it, and I've been making a little correction here and a little tweak and a clarification and whatever, then it's just like every time I glance over at that, the next thing I need is right where I need it, right when I want it, and it's kind of a magical experience. Like, I actually just find that really deeply satisfying. So it's gotten to actually where, whoa, so apparently Kindle has just done another firmware update, and it's, like, actually sending me recommendations from my friends and stuff. So that's kind of intriguing. Anyway, but so it's really cool, because if I'm doing a checklist like that, I can just run straight through it. And like, I've gotten to where I can, I mean, for Huber's Towers, which I've also built with some kind of things that make it easier, like the cover template is the same for every episode, it's just got a couple changes and stuff. But like, I can make brand new paper, I mean, the, you know, like the whole starting from scratch, make the ebook and paperback front and back covers in like 15 to 20 minutes. I can assign the ISBNs for every version of it in 15 or 20 minutes. I can probably compile it. I mean, you know, like this is all assuming that the manuscript has been fully edited, fully proofread. It goes through lots of rounds, like that takes a while. But once it's all done and the product description is written and stuff, I think I've gone from, you know, like completed manuscript to it's actually published across the board in like an hour or two, which is ridiculous. So anyway, all that to say, I love living in the future and I love checklists. How do you feel about checklists? I'm kind of curious. Like, I always feel like a weirdo for liking this kind of thing. I know I've got a couple of geeky friends who also like this kind of thing, but I feel like it's the sort of thing that would just completely turn off the average person, but I might be wrong about that. Not that you guys are average people, so this is the wrong forum in which to be asking that, I guess. But anyway, let's go on to this story. So we're reading in the Dreamworld Collective, and I'm going to do an uncharacteristic thing and actually skip back a few lines just because this is one of the rare places where there's a point of view shift that actually just happens immediately after, like without any change in time or place, just point of view. And it'll make more sense if I skip back a couple lines. So here we go. This is when Zen was rattling off all of his ideas. Clean houses, clean studies, clean garages. That's it, cried Alex. Zen looked at him distastefully. Come on, man, I didn't even get to the hammocks yet. Yeah, said Otto, let the guy finish. Ever heard of Rule 2? This is where we left off. That's not Rule 2, cried Alex. Rule 2 is appointing a scribe. Seriously, where did you people learn to brainstorm? Sushi smirked. Alex was funny when he was being systematic, especially in this group. I'm self-educated, Zen replied. I went to the upstairs Montessori Brainstorm Academy for Gifted Humans in Training, said Summer. We got to make up our own rules. That is the stupidest and most hilarious thing I've ever heard, Alex told her with a straight face. Stupidest isn't a word, Summer shot back, and the superlative of hilarious is hilarious, obviously. Learn English. Are we done here? Asked Sushi, because I could go back to painting any time now. No, we're doing it, Alex insisted. This is important. She decided to give it 30 seconds to become interesting before she went back to her stunning portrayal of the case of Griffin v. Bear. Okay, favorite ideas, everyone. If you could pick one thing for us to do to support the collective, what would it be? Robot army, said Otto immediately. How does that make us money? Sushi asked. Otto rolled his eyes. Are we really going to do that? Are we really going to do that conversation again? Sure, Alex gazed at him intently, halfway between a smirk and that ready to logically tear apart and rebuild your idea look he got sometimes. I'm interested. Otto gave a vexed sigh and began toying with the sugar bowl as he stared at the floor gathering his thoughts, or whatever Otto did in that pudgy skull of his. Okay, well, the way I see it, we need 3 kinds of robots. Harvesters, builders, and some other kind that actually does stuff. Generalists, we'll call them. No, wait, mercenaries. That's cooler. Anyway, the builders are robots who can make more robots. They can make all 3 kinds. We train the harvesters to go out into the world to find and gather the materials we need. We could just calculate the raw materials needed on a grams per robot level and calibrate the harvesters to... Well, anyway, that's for later. The mercenaries we could discuss as a collective. They could, like, have a bazooka arm, or do heavy lifting, or childcare, or whatever. With a bazooka arm? Summer exclaimed. I mean, it could be hyperpincers or something, if you think that's better, Otto stammered. We can figure that out together. I don't want this to just be my thing. Anyway, we'd probably have to harvest the first few rounds of materials ourselves, but after that it should be pretty much self-sustaining. We might have a couple operational adjustments to make from time to time, training the harvesters not to extract rebar in the residential districts, just off the top of my head. That could probably be a firmware thing. Anyway, sorry, keep it simple. That's the concept. I mean, if he trailed off, looking at the others with nervous, expectant eyes. Sushi raised her hand. Not to play devil's advocate, but I'm pretty sure that kind of technology won't be available for at least... She counted quickly on the fingers of one hand. 7 months. Maybe even a little longer. Maybe just a bit, agreed Alex, his face radiating skepticism. Otto nodded. I was thinking maybe with the new microprocessors. We'll put it on the list for R&D, said Alex. If you can make it happen, I will be so happy. But we do have to pay rent in the meantime still. Anybody else? Ideas? Childcare, said Summer. Without bazooka robot pincers, she added pointedly. Just us. You know, old school. Psh, like that would work, scoffed Otto. Have you ever tried to deal with a child? I love children. Obviously, but I'm talking about real children. Yes, Otto, real children. Really? Otto seemed intrigued by the idea. Well, I haven't had much experience myself. I suppose it could be possible. It takes all kinds to make a world and all that, he murmured thoughtfully. Whatever, Summer laughed. Anyway, childcare. And selling vegetables, but that would take some startup time. At that, Otto began snickering softly. Oh, Summer, he chuckled, you and your such great little ideas. Vegetables. Like people would actually buy vegetables. He put on a silly British accent. 4 pounds of carrots, my good man, and perhaps one of your fine lettuces. He settled into a good-natured fit of giggles. Sushi wondered, as she had so many times before, what it was that happened in his head. He was like, well, sort of like pizza. So simple, and yet you just had to keep coming back for more. Such a mind, Otto continued with a bemused grin. I don't know where you... I mean, maybe for pizza if they were all out of pepperoni or something. But even then, there's always cheese. I'm sorry, I just don't know if there's really a market for that sort of... Suddenly he looked up and found that everyone was staring at him. This seemed to sober him a little. Well, he said, I suppose we could put it on the list for R&D. All right, I've got work to do and books to release. Thanks for listening, and I will see you guys after the weekend. Bye-o.